Welcome to the Double Fall Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Will, and I'm accompanied by my good friend, Coach Jeremy. And Jeremy, we have a lot to talk about for the first couple of days here at the Australian Open. We've now seen the first two rounds, the first 5 days of the tournament. I think we just start from the top with, Carlos. He's playing right now. We haven't seen too much struggle from him, but it was quite a disappointment to see our boy Michael Zhang have to retire to Mute after he had that upset win in the first round in his main draw debut.
Yeah, that definitely was a bit disappointing. What's up, Double Fault family? Definitely was excited to see, if Zhang was 100% and could go toe to toe with Butte and have. He definitely left that match with the experience, even though he had to retire. And shout out to him for doing that because my bet on him got voided, so I got the refund. Real ones now.
Yeah,
Michael Zhang showed he's a real one for that.
Seriously, you have no idea.
Yeah, but it's crazy. All I saw really was a dominant first set from Michael Zhang. Mute just kind of but staying calm, not freaking out or anything, and then just a totally different Corentin Mute. The one that you see at the UTS showdown at Miratiglu Academy, just on that singles court, just he's definitely dangerous. Alcaraz is not going to take him lightly. I don't think they started yet our time right now, but
yeah, they're actually in the second set right now.
Okay, yeah, I would anticipate Alcaraz kind of taking he's a seed, right? Taking him seriously, probably maybe a tiebreak at some point, but I'm gonna say straight sets for Alcaraz.
Yeah, I also.
But just to wrap up with Michael Zhang, good that he ran into a Mute like that and just saw okay, if Zhang's body was able to hold up and didn't have to play so many qualifiers, like he will pretty soon not have to play so many qualifiers to get in, or any. But he would have had to, play chess with a Mute like that. He's going to try to be disruptive, and Zhang's obviously the kind of player that's going to have a really cool exterior. Does he just, remain unfrazzled and, stay frosty out there? I'm excited to see more from him soon.
I agree.
Sorry about that tangent.
Oh, it's all good. Michael Zhang, he was a phenomenon to start this tournament, especially for us. We're all from New Jersey, so it was cool to see him make a breakthrough. And, that's a great point. I think he played his first ever 5-set match this tournament, and it went 5 sets with Korda in the first round. So I did take that for granted, the amount of mileage he had on his legs going into this match. And hopefully, once he gets a tour level fitness and is playing consistently, week in, week out, we're going to see big things from Michael Zhang. And I think, top 100, top 50 is, very possible for him. And with his ball machine consistency and he just never misses. So he's going to frustrate a lot of guys on tour. He's similar to Lerner Tien with his, play style where he just gets every single ball back and is just carefully dissecting and crafting points and not going to really outdo you with explosive power athleticism, but he's a damn good tennis player and he's a winner. And as Ben Shelton said, a lot of these college guys are dogs, so they come out here and they are fighting to win here. So I loved what I saw out of Michael, and it's a bummer we didn't get to see him play Alcaraz, but I think we're going to see a lot more from him going forward. And right now, unfortunately, Davidovich-Fokina did just retire against Tommy Paul. I thought Fokina was...
Wow.
Yeah,
Live update here.
Yeah, seriously, breaking news.
I thought he was going to battle back, maybe a tight 4-set win for our boy TP, hopefully. But yeah, I guess,
Yeah, when I looked into that matchup before, Tommy Paul has owned him pretty consistently, but it just seems like every time they play, Fokina is somehow hurt in the beginning of it and then tries to tough it out. And then it's wishy-washy. Is he going to retire even though you bet on him and he's just kind of standing there and getting killed? But, it's exciting to see Tommy Paul get a shot at Alcaraz here in the next round because...
Round of 16 bout.
Yeah,
Nice.
we missed Tommy Paul a lot at the end of last year. So he is one of those guys that he's going to be in that top 10, top 15 conversation, and he's pushed Alcaraz before, so it's going to be real. That's a, that's a must-watch match. The first couple rounds for Alcaraz and Sinner you can kind of skim over. But now that we're getting here into the round of 16 at round 4, you're going to start tuning in to see how Alcaraz is looking, because Tommy Paul is the first real test that he's going to have this tournament.
Agreed. 100%. Let's go TP.
Yeah. And later tonight, we also have a resurgent Bublik. He's taking on Echeverry. We've talked about
Bublik,
before.
friend of the pod.
Yeah,
Right.
friend of the pod. We're trying to have him on. Sasha, open invite if you ever want to come talk some ball. He's an inspiration for everyone. Finding his best stuff a little bit later on in life kind of gives me a little bit of hope that maybe the pro dream isn't behind me. But but I've been loving
Hey,
what I'm
if
seeing.
Wawrinka's doing it at 40,
Yeah, I got at
shout out to the
least
Stanimal. Not to
I
go
got
out of order here.
yeah, I got at least 10 years of my best tennis in front of me. That's the way I'm looking at it. So, if Bublik and Wawrinka can still, revitalize their careers, I can too. But yeah, I mean, he's
Let's
looked
go.
dangerous this tournament, and I'm really excited to see, if he gets by Echeverry, which I'm assuming he does, if he continues the level he's displayed. That's going to be a great fourth round matchup if he gets the winner of Tiafo or De Minaur late night tonight. Who do you have taking that one? 'Cause that's
I
a
would love for
blockbuster.
Tiafoe to make a push. It seems like the theme at this AO has been a lot of the American men really, pushing for a deep run here. Like we see Tien's looking promising. Definitely reaped the benefits of no Felix in his draw. So we'll touch on that in a little bit. But Shelton looking really strong.
Tommy Paul, like these
Yeah,
guys are, these Americans are built for the hard courts, and they're showing out. All of our top guys
Quinn.
are
Quinn's the one guy I was forgetting too.
Ethan Quinn. Sure,
Yep.
you can't forget about him. He played unbelievable against Hubie. He was really impressive. But we'll get to that later.
Back-to-back straight sets performances from Quinn. So yeah, so Tiafoe has to be seeing all this and realize, hey, okay, De Minaur, yes, established top 10 player, but not too long ago Tiafoe was, bumping elbows with top 10 players and has top 10 wins. Had Alcaraz on the ropes a couple of Wimbledons ago. So he has to see this as a chance, all right, use his physicality, just try to overpower Demon. People have done it. If Tiafoe serves super well, he's a chance. I'm going to say Demon in a tight 4 sets, and it's going to be Bublik versus Demon, and that might be a 5-set absolute, like, contrast of styles, popcorn, must-see TV for the round of 16. So I'm betting on that happening and excited to watch that. Go
yeah, I
Sasha
think.
Bublik.
Yeah, I think if Bublik played either of these guys, Tiafo or De Minaur, that is going to be another great watch in the round of 16. But I mean, I've been really impressed what I've seen out of Tiafo so far. I liked a lot of what he was saying coming out of the off season, how he's really starting to take things seriously and be like, I don't want to be like, what if I went all out and maximized my potential later on, and now I'm, doubting it later on if I didn't do that. So I think he's looking a little lighter on his feet. He's slimmed down. I think he's moving his feet way better. So I like this like new look Francis, where he's a little bit more willing now that he has better legs under him. He's more willing to be to grind out rallies and play a little defense and not like rush returns and go for short ways to end points shortly. Tiafo is one of the best athletes on tour from just a pure power, speed, physicality standpoint. So he can match a lot of these guys. It was just before the mental decision where he, wasn't willing to put in that little extra grind to always bang with them. A little different if, he's in front of the US Open crowd, obviously then. He does, but it was like the week in and week out consistency of putting in that effort. I didn't always see from him. So hopefully, if we do see him like go all out this year, next year, he just turned 28 years old. So this is the end of his prime. So if he's going to maximize that, I see some scary stuff, in front of Tiafo.
Well, you know what? And not to cut you off, but we see Chilich just absolutely dismantle fave of the pod Chapo
Oh yeah.
yesterday. He's 37, like no spring chicken. Like that's like becoming, I guess, more and more normal. Like I think that actually people that are like in really good shape at 28 now, I think they can be, rest assured that they, if they choose to, I think a lot of people would just be like, all right, I don't have to keep grinding like this. Like I'm 30, 32, kind of want to retire more often. But I think nowadays, if people want to pull the joke, the Wawrinka and just
Monfils,
play
Djokovic.
until all these guys, like I think they, they're uh, the '90s kids now are paving the way for that. I guess they're '80s.
No, Tiafoe,
Mm.
Tsitsipas, Medvedev, Zverev. They're
I'm,
all
I'm
like
talking
the
about I'm
90.
talking about like Djokovic.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
talking about
those
like
guys. Yeah, those are the
Wawrinka.
80s.
They're like late '80s. But like what they're doing right now is what the Zverev, Medvedev, that um 90s generation can definitely play until late 30s, if not 40s.
Yeah, I agree. And these guys,
Um,
like, I think with modern fitness and training and everything, their primes are being extended. It's no longer like 24 to 28. You get like a 5 year window. Like these guys are playing at elite levels for like 10 plus years, especially if you're Alcaraz Sinner. But I think going back to
yeah,
Tiafo to finish that, I think he's got a real chance to take out de Minaur. Tiafo
you could do
has the
it.
talent. We've always said it. He's one of those guys where it's always if he's going to put it together. He's made a Grand Slam semifinal. De Minaur hasn't. And I think if Tiafo plays his best tennis, he can take out Demon. Like you said, he has all the shots in the book. And I've liked what I'm seeing from Francis. I think based off recent history and Tiafo having a down year last year and De Minaur having one of the best of his career, I understand De Minaur being a huge favorite here in his home crowd, but I think I like at least Francis to make this super competitive and get through here. Whether he could take out a informed Bublik or Alcaraz in the round after that, we'll have to see. But if Tiafo takes out De Minaur, that's a real win to start putting him back on people's radar. Where we see guys like Tsitsipas who loses to Mahach, and you can kind of cross him off the list. This is one of those matches where
Mahatch,
Tiafo then
the one
re-enters the
hand
conversation.
slaughterer. Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad. No, you say that just reminded me that Mahatch took out our boy Dimi in the first round, and then Steph in the second round.
And then he plays
So he's just
Musetti
on a
next
one.
round.
And if he beats Musetti, and then and then our
And
boy
then he plays
Stan wins, and
Stan.
he runs into Wawrinka. Oh, okay.
We had so many one
uh,
handers in the draw,
yeah,
and none of them are playing each other.
yeah, that's amazing that Tiafoe's in this situation. He really could beat De Minaur. And that would be a great question to ask if it's like, oh, if he beat Demon, does he have a chance to beat Bublik? I would say
I
definitely.
say yes.
And then obviously, yeah. So might as well just if he beats Demon, might as well throw Tiafo into
Quarterfinals
his
against
another
Alcaraz,
Grand Slam
like what?
semi
If he
or
earns that,
quarters. Yeah, that'd
like
be
the thing
sick.
is, unless you get like screwed in the draw where you play like Alcaraz or Sinner in the third or fourth rounds, if you play them deep in slams, you have to view that as like I'm playing well and I earned this opportunity. So any of these guys in this section of the draw, Bublik, Demon, or Tiafo, even just to get to Alcaraz, and sure, you want to win that match, but just to get there is like he's playing very well to get there. So I'm rooting for Tiafo there. And then let's keep going through this draw here. We have Zverev, pretty routine 4 sets wins over Diallo and Mueller. And then he takes on Cam Norrie in the third rounds. Sasha always dominates lefties, so
Ooh.
I don't really give Norrie too much hope there, to be
Yeah,
honest.
he's such a weird. He's like if a lefty were a lefty though. Like the way he plays is like so different. Like I don't
He's
know.
such,
I think Nori's gonna give Zverev some trouble. I think it might go 5, but I do have Zverev pulling it out. But I think Nori has a chance to make that competitive. Maybe take the over in games, or I could be totally wrong, and Zverev will just show why he's number 3. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I mean
say
he
it's a
has.
battle though. I'm gonna say a lot of games, 5 sets.
Yeah, I would like Cam Nori to have a little
Zverev
bit of
wins.
a resurgence, but I think historically Zverev, with just how dominant he is on the backhand wing, it's just tough to. He counters Nori's leftiness patterns so well. So it's going to be a tough. And Nori's also one of those guys who likes to outgrind his opponents and like beat them with his consistency, and
Zverev would be
that
down
goes
to
like
just rip a ball down the middle for like 2 hours straight.
yeah, like Zverev,
Just
literally, that's
crunch.
right in his wheelhouse. Exactly what he wants to do. He loves when guys just like will just not try to out hit him, and he could just out, rally them until their deaths, waiting for an unforced error. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
Zverev in like 3 sets here, maybe 4, to be honest. And then one of the better
Yeah.
matches tonight, coming up soon, we have Cerundolo versus Rublev. The winner plays Zverev. That is a toss up pretty much,
Yeah.
with
I have
Rublev
no
being a
idea.
slight favorite. Yeah, that one can honestly go either way.
Yeah.
Both guys have looked super strong. Cerundolo is like one of those guys who fluctuate between like, is this guy could be top 10 versus like, how is this guy in the top 20? So same with Rublev, but
Yeah.
I think Rublev's probably like a little bit of a safer option, especially on a fast hard court. But I think that one
I
could
would be a
honestly
little
go
surprised
Rublev
if
in
Rublev
5.
loses. Yeah. Yeah, I think he'll pull it out.
Yeah, I think these guys are just going to
Uh,
absolutely kill each other, then like be a little drained before they get to Sasha, who's just going to kill their legs. So
yeah.
this is a good, part of the draw where I would be surprised if we don't see Zverev in a quarterfinal here. Either Cerundolo or Rublev. I think you have to take Sasha at least, to be a pretty big favorite, or at least a likely outcome in that one. And then, wow,
Definitely.
this one of the live results, Daniil Medvedev just came back from 2 sets to love down against Fabian Marijan, and he came back and won in a 5th set, 6-3 in the final set. So Daniil Medvedev escapes death and gets through there into the 4th round. I mean, that's just classic
I
Daniil,
think
where
he
he just
won.
goes down and comes back.
Yeah. From 5-all in the third set, he won 10 straight games.
Yeah, he bageled him in
So
the
he won
fourth set.
7-5 in the third, bagel fourth, and then, started the fifth set. But yeah, it's, you know, he's looking like a gamer this year. He's not gonna, give people easy wins in a 3 out of 5. He's down for the, you know, long, to play the long game. So
Yeah,
yeah, he's gonna have his work cut out for him. Rematch,
yeah,
right?
he's got
Larry
a
Tien beat him
revenge
here
spot.
last year.
I'll never forget that match because I had to wake up for jury duty, and that match was still going on. So the only thing that was getting me through jury duty was watching Lerner Tien and Medvedev like in the middle of a 5th set, and I'm just like in the courthouse room, just sitting there watching on my phone, just freaking out. And I was like, I can't believe what's happening right now. This is actually absurd. It was so funny. I was like, I was like excited that I had off work because I just got to watch the match waiting to be called. And then like the case got dismissed. So I didn't actually have to like be a juror and I got to go home. Like it was actually a pretty good day. But do you
A trip
think,
down 2025 lane.
yeah, literally, probably my highlight of 2025 at the AO. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting battle next round. That's a tough test for Medvedev because Lerner is one of those guys where this might be like a 5-hour match where these guys just have like 40-shot rallies back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I could be wrong. I don't think Tien's really been tested because he's a huge beneficiary of no Felix in the draw.
Besides Garone pushing Tien to 5 in the first round, Garone was actually up 2 sets to 1.
Oh wow.
Besides that,
Well,
Shevchenko didn't really push Lerner in the second. Borges pushed Tien for like a
Shevchenko probably
set.
bet on himself to lose.
No, literally, he's
Hmm.
like, guys, take me to win 1 set, and then lost the fourth and the fifth, or the third and the fourth set, 6-1, 6-0. He's like, don't worry, if I get in the third, I'm tanking. But yeah, I mean, Borges
Hmm.
pushed Tien for a set and kind of blew that first set, to be honest, and then Tien cruised after that in straight sets tonight. So, I mean, he's looked pretty impressive, and I think Lerner is one of those guys where he's not going to lose to a lot of guys that aren't better than him. And we're going to be seeing him make these consistent, like, third, fourth round runs at majors because his game style is just so translatable. Kind of like an older Daniil
Mm-hmm.
Medvedev. Who do you have in that revenge matchup next round? Medvedev or
I have
Tien?
Tien again.
I
I
think in
definitely
my
have Tien.
I think in my bracket I took Medvedev, but especially if Tien is an underdog, I'm going to be at least betting on and probably thinking Tien is going to win that matchup because I think Tien matches a lot of what Medvedev does well with his like speed and court coverage and consistency from the baseline, and with his leftiness and trying to expose Medvedev's second serve, like it's been very attackable these past couple rounds, and Tien is a very good returner, so I think he's going to be all over Medvedev's service games, and it's going to be a war for sure. It's not going to be easy for either of those guys. They should be ready for a war, for that matchup. So I can see it being like a 4 or 5 set battle again. But I think I have Tien just being like, this is a bad matchup for Medvedev, and he wins again. Proving last year wasn't a fluke.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, uh, I'm trying to think because Medvedev's already been through. This match is decently physical. For Medvedev to come back, but it seems like he's had a lot of time on court already. Um, but I think the more physical it gets, the better it is for Medvedev. I think if Tien's able to like not I'm sure Tien is a little bit fresher, but still Medvedev's gonna want to out grind him. I think that Tien's gonna try to out tactic him,
Yeah,
which it's definitely gonna be a bit of a chess match out there. But
but
yeah,
but
I think
when
Tien's
when
gonna
does
just
the
be play a little smarter.
when does the court time catch up to him and just be like more of a like a indicative of a problem versus like, oh, he wins long matches. He's getting stuck in long matches, and he's not winning a lot of these matches that on paper he's the 11th seed, he should be winning against unseeded players like pretty routinely. But now we find him going 5 sets with Marijan, a type 4 sets with Elise there for a little bit, after losing the first set. So like, yes,
Yeah.
I trust Medvedev's legs. He is getting a little bit older. When does he lose a step? Is it in this round? Is it in the next round against Tien? Is it in the next round against Zverev? If he gets by that, am I just wrong and he can
I
run
mean, he's
forever?
been losing his hair. He's been losing his hair since he was like 23.
Yeah, that haircut makes him look like 10
So
years older.
yeah,
But maybe the haircut's
exactly.
getting to me. But I think obviously Medvedev's an unreal athlete. He's close to 30, but I think, we're going to have another 5 years of good Medvedev on tour here. So I think like old is a relative term here where everybody that's not like Sinner Alcaraz age is old in tennis. Like Medvedev, Zverev, these guys have been around for over 10 years already. So we've just gotten a little bit like numb to their presence and taken them for granted. But, Medvedev with that time on tour comes
Mm.
experience and a winner mindset and a lot of winning. So, come Grand Slam time, he does find I say all these concerns, but at the end of the day, he does find his way to get through these matches and go on to the next round, even if it does take him, 4 hours.
Yeah, I've seen absolute lockdown Medvedev mode for the first time in a couple of years, seemingly this year. That he's just whatever grunt he's fancying that day, he's just is down to just absolutely not miss and just hit lasers within like 2 feet of the baseline.
Yeah.
Especially off his backhand side, both wings, just octopus mode, gonna cover the whole court. Um, yeah, I just trust Tien to rekindle. I mean,
I don't
I'm
know. It's a
already,
tough one.
you know,
Yeah, now we're doubting it.
I'm gonna still say I'm gonna still say Tien's gonna win, just because he could, but good opportunity for Medvedev to make a statement. Like, I just came back from 2 sets to love down against Marizan, and then can he back it up and get revenge over the person that beat him last year, who's also a seed, Tien, and go into the quarters, win in the
Yeah.
quarters,
I
play,
think, I
get
think,
to a semi again. Like that could be huge for him, but
yeah, Tien is a little bit of a square pick because Medvedev is coming off a five setter where, like, on paper he struggled against Marijan, and of course, like you said, Tien has that head to head win over him last year. So like people are gonna see that and be like, oh, Tien's gonna win, but like Medvedev can easily win this match. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I'm gonna have to
yeah,
think about that one a little bit more for sure, but that's pretty much it for the top half of this draw. When we get future matchups, we could definitely go into those, in a couple of days. So be on the lookout for that.